At this point in the season, your freshman year, you run cross country, you run indoor, and you're just hanging on in outdoors. So for him to be running so well is a real testament, obviously, to his talent, and then to Coach Watson's coaching with him.
With Cook from Australia, we've seen a number of international runners adjust over here to the United States and make immediate impact. Are we seeing more of that, would you say, now compared to 5-10 years ago, or has it stayed pretty status quo with the number coming over and competing and succeeding?
I think it's probably about the same. You're seeing a lot of countries actually push to keep their athletes home. You're seeing it in countries like England and Ireland. They're trying to lure them to stay at home. But it's a great system to come over here, and you see athletes have a lot of success. So, you're always looking for, obviously ways to score points and win. And if that means bringing an athlete from overseas that can help you do that, you're going to do it. And I wouldn't say that it's gotten any deeper or any, weaker that way. But you do see countries trying to keep their athletes at home. So they're trying to make incentives for them to stay at home.
Well, and this is really, a point of conversation as well, because you get to the Olympic level, you get to the World Championship level, and you see these athletes who spend their younger years here in the United States getting trained by American coaches and then going off and competing for their own country and winning medals. And you kind of wonder, like, just for example, a Canadian pole vaulter who lives in Texas and goes to a Texas school, but his father was Canadian and he competes for Canada and he wins the Olympic gold medal. And everybody's like, well, why isn't he competing for the United States? He's an American. Well, he's both. But it's easier to make that team. It's easier to get on that World Championship and that Olympic team. But, my wife screams bloody murder when we have swimmers come over here to go to the University of Arizona, and then they go swim for South Africa. We trained them. We got them to that level. Now they go home and they compete for their own country. So it's a nice argument. It's a good conversation to have. But I love the college system. I love being able to bring athletes over to contribute to your team. And I think it raises the level of competitiveness when those athletes go home and compete in their home countries.
So what's the greatest asset for a college coach recruiting now on the international side? What's the recruiting pitch to get these men and women to come over and compete at the universities?
Well, I think it continues to be come over to the United States and get a great education. We're gonna let you experience a different way of life. And some of these guys come over and they're stuck in Columbia. They're stuck in some out of the way. Columbia, Missouri, and it's sometimes a little different than they certainly were going to get to experience in their own world. We've had Kenyans at Washington State University who just regretted their decision, but they excelled in the sport. And anything is an adjustment, but the pitch is, come to the United States, we're going to give you a great education. You're going to be part of a team, because the rest of the world is more on a club system. And you and I, we talked a little bit about that with some people earlier. It's the school system versus the club system.
The benefits you get as a student athlete in the States are really hard to come by anywhere else. So I think an athlete coming from overseas is going to have to look at the whole package, like Dan said, a paid education, being a part of a great team, and being a student athlete today. There's a lot of perks. So it's, I think it's a good move unless you have some sort of system, some sort of club system that is at that same level, giving you all the things that university is going to give you. Your best bet's to come here.
And so many times if an international athlete, an international student athlete has success, has a good experience, that can become such a powerful catapult for bringing in future recruits from that area. I think we're seeing that with Florida State on the men's side and different areas like that. So many different factors.
And some of those student athletes stick around and they become coaches.
That's right. That's right. When I was at Providence, 90% of our team was either Irish or English. And I married one of those Irishmen, and he has stayed here in the States with me, and is loving his job as a coach now since retirement. And I think that experience for him, changed his whole world. He came over as a freshman and really, really enjoyed it, and just said, I'm not going back. Like, this is where I want to be. When he retired, he knew he wanted to coach, and he's at a great school now doing what he loves. And hasn't had great success getting Irish athletes to come to the heat of Auburn, but that's okay. We have some other internationals that will take the challenge.
Zach Herriott, DeMares, and Cook, 1, 2, and 4 for the Cavaliers. Germano is Syracuse in the 3 spot. Virginia Tech in that number 5 spot right now for the Hokies.
Well, this is going to get fun here in another couple of laps. It looks like we had about 10 guys in that lead group. They've got 2 miles to go, 8 laps.
Yeah, it's a nice little pack there, and everybody's still in contention, like you said, Dan. So it's going to be very interesting what happens over the next few laps if someone decides to make a bold move and open it up, or are they going to leave it to the last 400?
To meet some of the guys in that front pack, Elijah Moskowitz of North Carolina State. He is a transfer from Brown, his first year with the Wolfpack. Last year, he placed 6th in the 5,000 at the USA Track and Field Junior Championships. In fact, ironically, last year at this time, he was competing for an Ivy League championship. So now he is wearing the Wolfpack red for North Carolina State. Syracuse has Colin BENNIE in action. He's a junior. He's right now in that number 7 spot for the Orange. BENNIE, highly decorated runner. He was the first team All-American in the indoor 5,000. He was a second teamer in the outdoor 5,000. So this is a guy that has experience and a lot of talent for the Syracuse program that we've talked about.
Yeah, with the 2 Syracuse guys in there, they're just working with that pack, trying to stay relaxed, trying to stay out of trouble. They're both on the rail, so they're running the least amount possible. Looking really strong.
Calvin CHEMOIYWO of Louisville is a senior. He's hitting 9 right now, that 9 spot. He won the African University 10K Championship from Kenya, so right on cue with what we were talking about. He made his way to Raleigh, or I should say Louisville, excuse me, and he has performed very well in his senior season. A member of the Kenya team that took gold at the World University Cross Country Games back in 2014. Right now he's moved up a spot. He's sitting 8th for Louisville.
Yeah, he just moved up there. He's looking great. He made a nice little move, and looks like they're starting to open it up here now. So we'll see what these Virginia boys have.
Entering this final event of day 1, Virginia with the team lead. The Cavaliers with 20 points. And in a prime time position to add mightily to that total. Sitting 1, 2, and 4. Peter Seufer of Virginia Tech. For the first time, your number 3 runner for the Hokies.
Yeah, he was just kind of sitting in the back of that pack, sort of letting everybody do the work and just kind of letting the laps tick off. And he has sort of made his presence be known here in this group.
Thank you, that makes sense.
Now, this could be a big boost for Virginia Tech if Seufer can hold on to that 3 spot. They're going to get some points in the 5,000. Accomplished runners, the 800 as well. They have a couple of really good runners. So the Hokies trying to counter Virginia in this 10,000. They don't have the magnitude to do that, but a 3rd place finish could certainly go a long way for Va Tech. Seufer currently sitting 3rd, but here comes Germano right back into that 3 spot. This is going to be fun. So we hit the final 4 or 5 laps.
Everybody looks pretty good, so I think they're just letting Zach kind of take the lead here and let him do his thing. And like you said, I think it's going to come down to these last couple laps. It's going to be a big dust up here, I think.
You're seeing different moves throughout the course of the race, and this is really fun as you break it down. We've seen the Cavaliers kind of rotate as that lead rabbit, if you will, and now DeMares making his move, 3rd time that he's been the leader. Is this planned or is this a feel right now?
I'd say it's probably planned. they're out there, they train together, they know. So let's help each other out, and let's keep the pace honest and be confident in our training and know that, you know, we can kick with everybody and we're going to score points here. So I think this is probably the plan. Their coach is probably out there giving them, you know, pointers along the way. You know, and they sort of, when he made the move, it looked like it was going to open up, and then everybody has sort of been able to stay on the end of that. So no real changes in that group.
The one to keep an eye on is Louisville again. CHEMOIYWO just continues to work his way up. Very patient approach. He is now into that number 5 spot right behind Seufer of Tech.
That's it, Craig. Come on, more to go. Let's drive home. All right, John, here we go.
And you see the runners that are being lapped sort of moving out to the second lane to let these guys have a straight run.
Well, and it was interesting because when Ann Aurora was passing, she was all by herself and people were staying on the inside. They made her go around the outside, but they've got the big group and we've got people jostling and competing here, and so the runners do move out and let those athletes compete on the inside.
Good runner's etiquette, that's what they call that.
Track is a cooperative sport.
It is. Just as we say that, we're going to have to go around the Georgia Tech ring.
3 laps to go and what is shaping up to be a fun finish in the men's 10,000. DeMareст of Virginia in the white. Good look at him. He's the leader for the Cavaliers. GERMANO of Syracuse sitting second. HERRIOTT third for the Cavs.
Well, Zach HERRIOTT looks like he is trying to go to a different place. Head up, head down. He doesn't look like he's having much fun right now, but he's found a rhythm and found a way to stay up front.
He has one of the faster 1,500 meter times, so if he can just get within 600 meters or 400 meters from home, he has that advantage.
Our leaders are working DEMAREST, GERMANO, HERRIOTT.
And so with that head movement we're starting to see from HERRIOTT, what's that show you? What's that tell you?
Well, he's awfully tired, you know, he's having trouble keeping up with the pace, but I'm always interested in distance runners as we see a huge move there. I'm always interested in what keeps them in their happy place. You know, they're 23 laps in here. It just doesn't seem like it would be that fun as a distance runner to be out there.
It is. It's very, very hard, and you know, that last mile is really, really tough, and it sometimes it is mind over body, and you know, sometimes you can crack somebody.
Well, we've seen a little bit of cracking here with GERMANO and DeMareст just a few moments ago. As Dan was talking, GERMANO has moved into that top spot for Syracuse as he kind of bullied his way by the Cavalier.
And we mentioned him earlier, but you know, he kind of was flying under the radar there, but he looks really strong coming into this final lap.
All right, here we go. 1 lap to go, and it is Syracuse with the lead. GERMANO holding the top spot. Can DeMareст and HERRIOTT make a move? Seufer also in the fray for Virginia Tech.
And Peter Seufer is having a great run. He came in without a time this season.
Here comes Seufer and the Hokies into the number 2 spot. But it's the senior from Albany right now. Does he have enough in the tank to bring home an ACC championship for the Orange?
He looks great. He's found another gear coming around this bend. Seufer is closing hard.
Could this be a huge steal for Virginia Tech if they can get Seufer there? And down the final stretch they come. GERMANO of Syracuse. Here comes the tall Virginia Tech runner. Seufer with some late kick. And the Hokies have the championship in the 10,000. Oh, my.
Wow, that was an amazing kick. He looked so strong.
GERMANO in
And he ran that race, you know, the way that any coach wants their athlete to run the race. Just sit in, let the laps tick off, do as little work as possible. He was on the rail. And then just as the moves were made, he covered them, nothing big, nothing major. And then he just one big move from home, and he got it.
I'm watching the Virginia Tech coaches down here to the right side, and they are jumping up and down and hollering after that win. But that's amazing. 29 minutes of racing, and it comes down to the last 30 meters.
So close.
Take us through this stretch here. Where did you sense that Seufer got the confidence that he could overtake Germano?
I think coming around the bend, when anytime an athlete looks behind them, and you saw Germano look behind him to see where he was at, that always gives the runner that's chasing confidence, and it's always better to be the chasee.
And Seufer just had better momentum. In that last 150 meters, you can see Germano was running well, but Seufer was he was smoother, he was accelerating, he was continuing to accelerate, and you knew he hadn't reached his top speed, while Germano, it looked like he was maxed out with 200 meters to go.
Yeah, you saw him sort of overstriding and just trying to hang on.
There you look at the 10,000 meter results, 29:21.49. Germano second. Virginia does go 3, 4, and 5 with DEMAREST, HERRIOTT, and the young freshman from Australia, Lachlan Cook.
That's great points for Virginia. I think they were probably hoping to get a win out of this, but still some great points for them.
So quite a first day. We finish with a bang here in the men's 10,000. And Dan, we start with you. Let's look back at tonight. Biggest surprise.
Seufer, ACC champ, and first 10K on a track. So beginner's luck, really. What is that?
This is the plan going in with the coaches. Like, he asked me if I want to do a 10K, 5K double, and the goal was like, I was going to go and do the double because it was going to maximize our point possibility. Because 5K has a lot of great athletes this year, and every year it's going to be a little tough. And I felt that, like, we've been training, building up to this, and I feel like we do all the time. Our focus on every race is our kick, and I feel like we practice that in practice just about every day. And I even talked to Thomas Curtin a couple nights ago. He's like, just have faith in your kick. Coach Thomas does a great job. Just gotta believe in yourself and just go for it.
Having faith in that kick. You were in a pack with Virginia runners until that finally split open at the end, and you really kicked it in there. 10,000 is not easy for anybody, though. So how are you able to keep that pace, but then also push through that pack?
You know, like I said, we just practice the kick all the time. It's just long repetitions with a fast 200 at the end. And I was going in, that was the goal. I was terrified. Like you said, I was in that pack. I didn't know what was going to happen. Honestly, I feel like I'm going to throw up right now.
You've got a moment to take it easy, Sean. We're going to let him catch a breather. We're going to send it back upstairs.
Be sure to stay clear, Melanie. Thomas Curtin, he mentioned Thomas. He won the event last year, second straight.